Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of AndrewsFootball.com. Now, one of the greatest people on planet Earth requested a video to be made on betting and bankroll strategy. Actually, he sent me an email on askandrewsfootball@yahoo.com what my suggestion was or how I manage it. And I thought this was such a good email that I'm going to go ahead and make a video on it. Now, before you do any kind of sports betting, and to tell you the truth, this is bigger than sports betting. This would go to whether you're doing investing with stocks, real estate, commodities, any kind of investing. Period. There's two things you need to master, and that's money management and discipline. Okay, now I'm not sure if the person who sent me this email, if he's an experienced gambler, if he's a novice. So I'm going to give you a background of my life. I've lived in the Kansas City area for a long time. The casinos, it was Harrah's, which started in 94 here in the Kansas City area. Well, about that time, I turned 21. So my whole adult life, I've been around casinos. All right. And long story short, I was actually a blackjack dealer at Argosy for several years, and then I also dealt at Ameristar for a short period of time. And so the several years I have of working in a casino, I got to see firsthand how addictive gambling was. It was actually funny. One of the guys I went to a blackjack school with, he's a good friend of mine. We ended up being really good friends. His mother-in-law would go into the casino quite often. Matter of fact, his wife and his mother-in-law were there the very first day that I gambled, or I dealt, I'm sorry. And anyway, my buddy's mother-in-law was highly addicted to gambling. She was a manager at a gas station making $8 an hour, but she was gambling over 50 hours a week. I'm not exaggerating. She was there at the casino more than I was. There was even a story. Now, I knew she had 3 payday loans and she makes $8 an hour. Then what happened was she lost a deposit for $4,800, but somehow agreed to pay it back. But somehow later that night she won $4,800 gambling. Now the whole $4,800 with the lost deposit, winning at blackjack, all working it out together. And who loses a deposit and offers to pay it back out of their own money? So I'm sharing this story, and then another one about an old friend of mine, Russ. And it's funny because I wanted to go to the casino, and he literally could make $20 last for 8 hours. He did this before. He would walk around, put like 2 or 3 cents into a penny slot, walk around for another 10, 15 minutes. And anyway, me and him went, and I watched him turn $20 into about $1,500. Later, he had to go to call 1-800-BETS-OFF because he was so hooked on gambling. He ended up pissing away both his mother and father's inheritance just on gambling. The guy lives in an apartment less than half this size right now, and I think he's, if I remember right, he's about 12 years older than me. The guy has nothing. All right, the guy has nothing. I think he lives on welfare now, but both his parents left him considerable amount of money. He blew it all on slot machines. This is very, very important because you got to have discipline. I actually, before I became a blackjack dealer, I knew a guy who was explaining basic blackjack strategy. He always said that he only leaves the house with his driver's license and the money that he goes, because he doesn't have enough discipline to. He'll go to the ATM with his credit cards and debit card and withdraw all the money he has because he doesn't have that much. If you're that type of person, do not do not do any type of sports gambling at all. You have to have discipline because this is a highly addictive thing, especially if you win. I've always told people the worst thing that can happen to you at a casino is that you win because you are hooked. I could sit here and I can make a video for hours on end of how addictive gambling is. But if you don't have the discipline, then then don't be betting on sports, all right? Because it's highly addictive, and my videos will help you win money. Trust me. Once you get that money in your hand, it's highly addictive. What I do when I play blackjack, I do this. Now I haven't played blackjack in a while, but when I go to the casino, I bring $500 minimum. I only gamble three. I'm walking out of the casino with $200 in my pocket. The reason why? Discipline. All right. Now, it's funny because I knew a guy when I was dealing blackjack. That was kind of at the same time the poker boom hit, and my buddy wanted to be a professional poker player. So I kind of adopted that dream too. And I literally read dozens of books on how to be a professional poker player. But unlike most people, I discovered that I was a cash game player. I wasn't a tournament player. And I kept on charting like on my style of play. Was I playing aggressive? Was I playing ABC? Was I only playing like the top 10 hands? How I felt when I arrived, the other players at the table. And I found out that I played best when I drank coffee, not energy drinks. Energy drinks made me too jittery. I had to force myself to eat before I play. That was another thing. And the best time for me to play was between 10:30 at night and 1. If I got there around 7 or 8, I didn't feel right. If I got there like 2, 3 in the morning, I didn't feel right either. I kept track of all these things, all these little minute details. A lot of people, what they used to do is, a lot of people would go have a few beers, walk into the poker room. That wasn't me. I never did that. And that's how I was able to well, I wouldn't say make a living because I still had a full-time job and everything, but that was my bankroll. I'm trying to emphasize that you need to have discipline because you'll do something called chasing bets. All right? Case in point, when I went to Vegas in 2017, I put action on the Chiefs-Patriots. Chiefs won the game. Patriots were a 9-point favorite. The Patriots got out to a 10-0 lead. Then the line jumped up to like 14.5 or 17.5 because you can make bets during the game. And my buddy's like, man, we should jump up there. We can jump up there. And I said, no, I made my bet, and I just stood there. And then all he did all night was he kept on go, oh man, we should have jumped up on 17.5. We should have jumped up. And then later he ended up getting hooked on that and ended up playing blackjack. Now he said he won, but I don't think he did. My point is that you're going to encounter a bet and you're going to want to chase that bet. This is key. You place your bets, win or lose, then you walk away. Okay? That's key. That's discipline. All right? Hopefully I've hit the nail on the head enough on that. All right? Second thing is money management and bankroll, and I call it a burn fund. And the reason why I call it a burn fund is I can take that money, I can light it right on fire, throw it away, I won't miss it, okay? I have every month a certain amount of money goes into a Roth IRA. Every week I have a certain amount of money that goes into a savings account. I have a separate amount of money that I have what I call going into a burn fund. A lot of people call it bankroll. I call it a burn fund because I can literally light that money on fire and not miss it. All right? If you don't have money that you can light on fire and throw away, then get a second job, work on your finances, have the discipline to get your money situation right so that you can have a burn fund. All right? Now, how do I manage weekly betting? Now, the over-unders for the year is where I usually make my money. This year was kind of an exception because I spotted the week one advantage. I took advantage of that. You can watch my videos on that. I'll put the link here in the description so you can watch some of those videos of what I did week one. But bottom line, now I don't do online betting. But let's say I live somewhere where I did do online betting, or let's say I start doing online betting. All right, how do I handle a bankroll? Okay, let's say I got $1,000 bankroll, which I would have at the very beginning of the season. Here's how you manage it, and this is the main part of what you're asking. Okay, 50% weekly, 10% parlay, depends. Okay, let me break this down. You have $1,000. Okay, let's say your bankroll is $1,000 for this week. If you find a game that you're absolutely in love with, and I have a 5-star system, okay, the maximum you can spend in 1 week is half your bankroll. So if you have $1,000, the very maximum you can spend this week would be 500. And you can only bet 500 on one game, and that's a 5-star game, okay? Most of the time, games will either be a 1, 3, or 5. A 1-star, 100, 2-star, 200, 3-star, 300. Occasionally, I'll have a 4-star game and a 5-star game. Now, 500's the maximum, and you can only do 500 on one game. So 50% of your bankroll for one game only. Now, if you do a parlay, 10%. So last week I had a 2-game parlay. My bankroll was $1,000. I would have done 100 on that parlay. I would have won. Next week I walk back with $1,000. It doesn't. Your bankroll doesn't grow. Okay. Now this is how I do it. Okay. My winnings, I take that. I either put it in savings or I go have fun. It doesn't matter what I do with it. I can do whatever I want. I can go out and buy a new gun. It doesn't matter. I can do whatever I want with that money. The point is that you keep it at 1,000. You lose, all right, then you know you're done. You can dip back into it. Now, if you already spent it, forget it. It's gone. But let's say you want to reinvest, that's fine. Okay. Kind of got a little confusing there, but bottom line, how do you handle it? Okay. 50% in a week maximum. Whatever your bankroll is, let's say it's $1,000, you can only spend 500 in 1 week. Okay? 500 on one game maximum, 10% on a parlay maximum. Let's say there's 2 games, one you're in love with, one's so-so. So here's how you can, let's say that's a 5-star game, but you want to do the parlay, 400 on that one game, a $100 parlay, 50%. And this is important because if you don't have the discipline to only play half your bankroll, you don't have the discipline to play, period. So again, the key points of doing this is money management and discipline. If you don't have discipline to only play 50% of your bankroll in a week, you don't have the discipline to play, period. So listen, if you're a subscriber to Andrew's Football, you already know you're one of the greatest people on planet Earth. The person who sent this email is one of the greatest people on planet Earth. My videos are guaranteed to make all your wildest dreams come true. It's proven by science. So listen, hey, Saturday's the prediction video, and I'll see you Saturday.